I'm going to show you how to make your own button labels, your own custom button labels for LED buttons. Your typical LED button is going to look something like this, and you can kind of see there's some notches here that just holds this top clear plastic cover in place. So all we're going to do is take a screwdriver, push it in here, pop this off, and then we can put our label in here. It's best if you have some kind of translucent material to print your label on, but you can even use just regular inkjet printer paper. And I did that and printed out some labels here. And after I pop this off, I'm just going to cut out a circle around the label I want to put in here. I'm going to stick it back in here and put it back together. So let me show you how to pop this off. It's actually pretty easy. You just push this screwdriver in this hole and it pops it just a little bit up like that, and then you can pull on it and it comes out. So here you can see the inside of the button and it's just clear. So we're just going to now cut out the paper, put it on top of this, and put the cover back on, and when it lights up it'll look pretty good. Okay, I've now cut out my label. It's just I'm going to make a custom power button. Just cut it out in a circle. You can use this piece of plastic here to trace around it and make your cuts. But what you want to try to do is try to make it align as much as possible with that surface area on that clear plastic, because otherwise you'll see some of the light looking different around the edges and it won't look as good. But this is good enough for me, so now I am going to take my cover and just pop it back on. And it doesn't really matter which way the label is oriented, because you can just rotate the button when you mount it to your control deck. You do have to make sure you put this piece of plastic in there first, because it can only go in a certain way and it's got to be able to push in and out. So put that in first, just put your label on top of it, and then line up your holes with your piece of plastic. And just push that back on. There we go. So now I have a label on my button. So here's some examples of what these buttons look like when they're lit up, even with just a piece of paper. And yeah, they're not as good as it would be if it was clear, but they look pretty darn good, if I may say so myself, for a really cheap solution. So it's going to be kind of hard to see, but way down here there's some wires that connect to the motherboard for the standard power button, and that is the wire that I've wired in to this button. Pretty simple solution. So here's a quick and easy way to splice a couple wires together, add some length. This is a connector for my button, and I made a longer wire to connect it down to my PC below. I can solder this, but I'm just going to put one of these twisty things on it to hold it in place for me. It's kind of temporary, but it actually works pretty good. Sometimes better on my solder joints because I'm not the great at soldering. Yep, I'm gonna put this one on. All they have to do is make the connection and they're gonna power it off. So see, it's running right now, fan spinning. And I can test this by just touching them together. And my computer has gone to sleep. The fan is stopping. It stopped. And my power LED down here is blinking. It's going to sleep. All I did is I touched these two wires together and just touch them back together. And we're back in business. Okay, so now I've wired up my new button to the power pins on my motherboard, and I now have my button here. You'll notice it's on the top of my cab. You might wonder, why didn't I put it on the control deck? Well, sometimes I have some young guests, some young nephews coming in here just mashing buttons. I didn't want them just randomly turning this thing on and off all the time. So I decided I'd rather make it kind of hidden, but still convenient to access if I want to put the back cover on the back of this cab. I've configured Windows to make the power button put it into sleep mode. So now all I gotta do when I'm done playing is I can just push this new button and boom, my machine is going to sleep. The monitor will power down because there's no input going into it. And the fan has turned off of the computer. So it's nice and quiet now. I could maybe change the wiring for the LEDs to make those also go off, but for now, they're gonna stay on. And here's the finished button, all powered up and lit. I spliced together another wire, connected it down to my 5-volt connection, and now I can just press it. And my machine will go to sleep. The fan stops spinning. And when I'm ready to play again, just push that button and we're back in business. Hope you enjoyed this. Click like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Thanks.